here's what I want to say. And I honestly, I understand I'm preaching to the choir here. Everything about this is wrong. You know it, and I know it. I actually know it better than most because I helped build that organization. And that's why I am almost the perfect person to discern what is normal and what is abnormal in terms. And I want to be clear, we're not here to make assumptions, okay? And we wouldn't have to make any assumptions if Turning Point USA...
Nice story isn't rumor. It's testimony from the inside. According to a whistleblower from within TPUSA, Erica Kirk had already begun assuming CEO duties before her husband's death, making executive calls, issuing orders, and sidelining the man.
The loudest names in conservative media just cracked open a secret that was never meant to escape the shadows. Joe Rogan and Candace Owens, two forces who almost never see eye to eye, have suddenly joined forces over one shocking revelation that's got everyone talking. And right in the middle of this storm, Charlie Kirk's widow. Ever since Charlie's unexpected passing, the internet's been spinning out of control, filled with rumors getting louder, wilder, and more dangerous by the hour. But the moment Rogan and Owens stepped in, everything changed.
But I was so clearly deluded in the immediate aftermath of his death that I was operating under this function. I mean, I truly believed that I would be fighting for answers to what actually happened on 9/10 alongside.
The narrative that once seemed untouchable started to collapse piece by piece. That these two didn't just question the story, they tore into it. They started connecting dots nobody else dared to touch. From late night meetings in private circles to cryptic live streams and unsettling whispers of betrayal inside the movement itself. This story isn't just another tragedy, it's a collision between raw truth and untouchable power. And the detail driving everyone insane right now? Both Owens and Rogan are openly claiming that the official version of how Charlie Kirk passed doesn't add up, not even close. The timeline, the people around him, the way everyone reacted afterward, none of it fits together. So what are they really hinting at? And why has Charlie Kirk's widow suddenly become the lightning rod in the middle of this chaos?
The point that I'm making here is that I had assumed, clearly wrongly, that we'd all maybe be on a group chat communicating, raising hell and demanding answers from the feds, from the police, from the White House even. Certainly, at the very least, pointing out the very many holes in this story. And if any one of us had the audacity or the desire to carry on Charlie Kirk's show, that would be the appropriate venue for asking those sorts of questions. But no, I was wrong. Silence. Silence is what we were met with. In fact, I am told that these people believe the official narrative.
Insiders are whispering that whatever went down behind those closed doors could flip everything we thought we knew about Charlie Kirk on his head. But here's the wild part. That wasn't even the end game. That was just the first move before the lights went out and the whole narrative went dark. Charlie wasn't just a voice, he was the movement. Charlie Kirk, the mastermind behind Turning Point USA, the man who turned college debates into full-blown national wars of ideology. You didn't have to agree with him, but you couldn't ignore him. Charlie had reach, power, and the kind of enemies who don't argue. They erase obstacles quietly, and through every headline, every rally, every spotlight, there was always her, Erica Kirk, the flawless partner, loyal, polished, always radiant beside him under those blinding stage lights.
Nice story isn't rumor, it's testimony from the inside. According to a whistleblower from within TPUSA, Erica Kirk had already begun assuming CEO duties before her husband's death, making executive calls, issuing orders, and sidelining the man.
But when Charlie suddenly vanished overnight, that picture-perfect image cracked in an instant. Within hours, Erica went live, hands trembling but voice firm, thanking first responders and promising the world that Charlie's mission would live on. Yet the internet wasn't buying it. Viewers said she looked too calm. Critics claimed every word felt scripted, like she was reading from a carefully written play. And that's when the whispers began to spread. Maybe she wasn't breaking down, because deep down, she already knew what was coming. Some people said Erica was just grieving, frozen by shock and loss, but then something nobody saw coming happened. She vanished. No interviews, no statements, no emotional posts, no public breakdowns, just pure silence.
To TPUSA staff, it started quietly. Subtle shifts behind the scenes. Meeting invites that didn't include him. Staff answering to somebody new. A name showing up on documents it shouldn't have. Before anyone realized what was happening, Erica Kirk was already giving the orders, acting as CEO while her husband was still alive. The tone inside the organization changed overnight. People noticed. They just didn't understand what they were seeing yet. Then came the Utah event. Security was reshuffled, regular staff pushed aside, new faces brought in at the last minute, people nobody recognized, who didn't seem to answer to anyone. And a stand-down order was given from within Turning Point USA. Charlie's security was ordered not to cooperate with local law enforcement. An order that whistleblowers are saying came from Eric.
Weeks slipped by and the internet started buzzing with questions. Then out of nowhere, she resurfaced, but not at a memorial, not at a tribute, not even near the cameras. Instead, she was spotted behind closed doors in a private meeting with Turning Point's top brass. That's when the whispers exploded into a storm. Rumors of missing money, quiet boardroom coups, and power plays that could split the entire organization apart. People started asking the unthinkable. Was this about protecting Charlie's legacy or fighting over who'd control the empire he left behind? And worse, who'd be ruthless enough to bury his name just to take the throne?
Look at this face. As of the recording of this video, we're only 16 days out from a supposedly brutal, horrific assassination of the love of her life, of the father of her two children. And she's acting like it kind of didn't happen. Are we going to hear about the Romanian angels situation? Are we going to hear her address what some people are saying, that she's been banned from Romania for a certain thing that people are accusing her of? 16 days out. I would expect this maybe from somebody 16 months out. But I have grandparents, and I know people, and you probably do too, that still mourn the loss of a loved one who wasn't taken during a horrific assassination or some kind of unexpected accident. Something where maybe a loved one was struggling with cancer for a couple years, going through chemotherapy, and the doctor's like, well, get your things in order because so-and-so only has 6 months or 12 months. And even after that, you don't recover like this. Even after preparing yourself 16 days out from the actual demise of the individual that you say you love, am I tripping? Or is this as bizarre to you?
People started asking the question no one wanted to say out loud. Was Erica truly grieving or calculating? And then, boom, Candace Owens dropped a bomb that turned a tragic story into a full-blown conspiracy. According to her, Charlie's enemies weren't just lurking outside in the political world, they were sitting right beside him. Candace isn't known for holding back, and the moment she stepped into the Charlie Kirk story, everything exploded. She and Charlie went way back, and co-founders, allies, climbing the same conservative ladder together for years. She once called him her brother in arms, but after his passing, that brotherhood started looking more like a war zone. In a viral live stream that shook every corner of the internet, Candace didn't mince a single word. She revealed that in the final weeks before Charlie's passing, he was under intense, suffocating pressure. Not from the media, not from political opponents, but from the inside. From people he trusted most. Her voice carried fire when she said he was changing.
I told you that I had a source who was actually on the ground the day that Charlie was shot, somebody who was in law enforcement. I remember my source telling me something about how they were trying to keep everybody very tight-lipped. And so I went back through our messages and I found this. So on September 27th, my source said, I can't talk about it yet. Admin is on high alert about leaks. Blank advised anyone leaking information about this case would receive heavy reprimand. And I said, I'm convinced this was a hit, dude. This Tyler Patsy thing stinks to high heaven. So everyone is being very tight-lipped. Oh, for sure, bro. Once I got on scene, I could tell something was very wrong. And I was thinking about our conversation. I was thinking about a couple of other things he was talking about. And I remembered that one of the things he was also talking about was the fact that he verified with UVU officers at UVU campus, that Charlie's team wouldn't coordinate with them regarding security. which I thought was really weird. Now, I don't know the exact protocol with this. I don't know if this is a normal thing. Is it not weird that the guest security wouldn't coordinate with the officers on campus?
He started asking questions they didn't want asked. She didn't have to name names. Everyone already knew who she was pointing at. The whispers circled Turning Point insiders, top-tier donors, and even Charlie's closest confidants. That's when the internet went into full meltdown mode. Rumors spread like wildfire, and that Charlie was preparing to walk away from his empire and expose what was really going on behind the curtain. Others began whispering that Charlie wasn't just suspicious. He had proof, files, messages, and evidence that could allegedly destroy reputations and end powerful careers overnight. But Candace didn't stop there. She pushed it even further. She claimed Charlie had been warned. Someone close to him supposedly told him just days before it happened, "They're coming for you." A direct warning he reportedly ignored. And when people pressed her to reveal who gave that warning, Candace just smirked and said, "Let's just say she was closer than you think." That single line flipped the internet upside down. Suddenly, the story wasn't just about Charlie Kirk anymore. All eyes turned toward his widow, Erica. Then came the twist no one expected.
Because I really want to see how she pulls this off. She is a horrible actress. We saw this. We saw this immediately after his assassination. Do you remember when she recorded herself? She videotaped herself stroking the hands of her dead husband while he's lying in the casket. It was some creepy ass shit. Then we saw that cult rally that was supposed to be a memorial for her husband. They held it at a fucking stadium with fireworks. No family, no lifelong friends spoke at this thing, just politicians and friggin' political hacks. And then she gets up there and says, "That young man who murdered my husband, I forgive him." Remember that? Not a fucking tear anywhere in sight. It was the worst acting I think I had ever seen in my life. So you're damn right I'm going to be watching this.
Joe Rogan jumped into the chaos, and when Rogan speaks, millions listen. What he said next made even Candace pause for a second, because once Rogan decided to touch the Charlie Kirk story, it stopped being a rumor. It became a firestorm. He started by saying exactly what everyone else was too afraid to admit. Something about this doesn't sit right. Rogan questioned the timeline, the missing security footage from the event, and the deafening silence from the people who were supposedly closest to Charlie. But what really sent chills through his audience came next. Rogan said there's a pattern of high-profile figures who start asking the wrong questions. And then out of nowhere, something mysterious happens. Rogan didn't directly accuse anyone, but he dropped just enough breadcrumbs to send Reddit and X spiraling into absolute chaos for weeks. Then, in that signature calm tone of his, he brought up Erica Kirk. I'm not saying she's involved, Rogan said carefully, but her behavior after the fact, it's weird. And that one line, it detonated the internet. Within hours, clips from the episode were flooding every social platform. Millions of views, tens of thousands of comments, and entire threads dissecting every frame of Erica's old live stream. People broke down her posture, her tone, her eye contact, even the words she chose. Then Candace poured gasoline on the fire by reposting the clip with just one single word, "Exactly." That's all it took. From that moment on, the narrative shifted.
And I want to be clear, we're not here to make assumptions, okay? And we wouldn't have to make any assumptions if Turning Point USA could just tell the truth. They could just be open and they could be honest about everything. Okay, I obviously went out to both Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colbeck for a statement. Asked those two questions. Hey, who were you on the phone with? What's going on here? No response. Weird. Because if that was me and I saw clips going viral and people were drawing conclusions from that clip, thinking that I was already on the phone, thinking that my reaction was weird, I would instantly hit back. I'd say, here's my call log. You want to know who I was on the phone with? 911, obviously. I was freaking out. I called 911. I didn't know what I was doing. Here's my phone. Here's my whole call log for that day. But this is, I don't know. I guess we live in a world where that doesn't make sense. I would have issued a statement to dispel any rumors, but they have not. Here's what I want to say, and I honestly, I understand I'm preaching to the choir here. Everything about this is wrong. You know it, and I know it. But I actually know it better than most because I helped build that organization. And that's why I am almost the perfect person to discern what is normal and what is abnormal in terms of what happened at that college campus event. In fact, when I did my tribute to Charlie, this is unbelievable. Remember, just after he died, I posted a video to my friend Charlie Kirk, and I shared a clip of him at a college event, and he and I were laughing, and I'm going to show you that clip in a second. And I said, I don't even know which college this is when I showed the clip because I didn't know what college it was. And unbelievably, it was UVU.
This wasn't about what happened to Charlie Kirk anymore. It was about what might have been happening around him. And as theories spread like wildfire, new details started surfacing that no one saw coming. Suddenly, users were uncovering alleged connections, hidden timelines, and cryptic posts that made everything 10 times darker and way more personal. Once Rogan's comments went viral, the internet transformed into a full-blown crime board. Threads popped up overnight with people claiming to have screenshots, deleted DMs, and leaked insider messages. Most of the theories floating around were pure nonsense, wild guesses, and fake screenshots. But a few, they didn't feel so fake. One Reddit post in particular exploded. It claimed to show a text from Charlie's assistant saying he'd been warned not to attend that campus event. Another alleged there were missing messages between Charlie and Erica just hours before his passing. No solid proof, but by then, proof didn't even matter anymore. The story had already grown its own legs and started running wild. Then the threats began. Influencers who even mentioned the case started getting strange phone calls. Candace said her phone was pinged by unknown numbers over and over. Rogan revealed on air that a friend in law enforcement quietly told him to drop it before it got messy. Even fans began noticing how posts about Erica Kirk were disappearing off social media. Videos gone, comments deleted, threads wiped clean. And through it all, Erica stayed completely silent. No interviews, no public appearances, no statements, just this eerie, calculated distance that made everyone even more suspicious. Her last public post, a single black heart emoji. That one symbol threw the internet into chaos. Was it grief or guilt? No one could agree, but behind the scenes, something bigger was unraveling. Turning Point insiders began dividing into camps, some defending Erica like their lives depended on it, and others whispering that she'd taken control of far more than just Charlie's legacy. Then came the leaks that sent shockwaves through the movement. Documents started surfacing, hinting that Charlie had been preparing to step away from Turning Point entirely. If that was true, it meant one brutal thing. Someone out there stood to lose everything. And that's when the question that changed everything started spreading like wildfire. Was Charlie Kirk's passing truly random? Or was it convenient? But even that bombshell wasn't the finale, because Erica's next move stunned everyone into silence. Just when people thought the entire story was dying down, she came roaring back in a way nobody expected. No press release, no PR statement, no carefully managed interview. Out of nowhere, she uploaded a raw, unedited video titled, "For the Record." No music, no fancy cuts. Just her, staring dead into the camera, calm, cold, and deliberate. The moment she started speaking, people felt it. This wasn't a widow grieving, this was a woman reclaiming the narrative. She called out grifter media, threw subtle shade straight at Candace Owens without ever saying her name, and delivered her message like a warning shot. You're all cashing in. Midway through the video, Erica dropped the bomb that sent shockwaves across every platform. She was taking full control of Turning Point USA, the very empire her husband built from the ground up. Continuing his mission, she said, but let's be real. To most people, it looked less like devotion and more like a calculated power move. The internet went insane. Comment sections were split right down the middle, half calling it queen behavior, the other half calling it cold, manipulative, and strategic. The whole thing reeked of control, not grief. And then came her final line, the one that froze everyone in their tracks. Staring straight into the lens, Erica said, "Charlie always said the truth will reveal itself. Yes, and when it does, I'll be ready." Then, boom, the video cut. No outro, no fade out, just silence. That eerie ending made it feel less like a tribute and more like a warning. The clip hit over 1 million views in under 24 hours. Candace went live the next morning claiming Erica's entire message felt too rehearsed. Rogan doubled down, saying it didn't sound like grief. It sounded like PR damage control. Now the question everyone's obsessed with isn't what happened to Charlie Kirk. It's what's about to happen next. Because if Erica really meant what she said, I'll be ready, but then ready for what? And that, right there, is when the story stops being speculation and starts getting scary. Candace Owens is still dropping bombs. A bandmate and Erica Kirk just flipped this entire story upside down. Everyone's got their own version of the truth, but the deeper you dig, the murkier it gets. Because let's be honest, if Charlie Kirk really was planning to walk away from Turning Point, that changes everything. The money, the control, the power, all of it. And Erica stepping in right after, that doesn't look like continuing his mission. That looks like rewriting it. The internet's completely torn apart over this. Half the crowd says Erica's just protecting what Charlie built, while the other half swears she's protecting herself. And at this point, nobody can tell the difference anymore. Every clip, every screenshot, every so-called leak, it all just adds more smoke to a fire that's already burning out of control. Meanwhile, Rogan and Owens haven't backed off, and if anything, they've doubled down. Rogan's teasing that he's gotten new info from a source close to the case, and Candace, she's promising proof. And if you know her, you know she doesn't make promises like that unless she's ready to back them up with receipts. So maybe Erica's right. Maybe the truth will reveal itself. But when it does, who's gonna survive it? Because in this story, no one looks clean. Not the media, not the insiders, and maybe not even the widow. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you on the next one. Because this story, it's far from over.